Ladies and gentlemen, money, it's a tool, a resource, a servant. But for too many people, it becomes the master. We work tirelessly for it, spend the majority of our lives chasing it, yet never pause to ask, what if money could work for me instead of me always working for money? That's the philosophy of the late Jim Rohn, one of the greatest business philosophers of our time. He taught us that wealth is not built by chance, it's built by design. And today I want to show you how to think like Jim Rohn and put your money to work. 1. Change your relationship with money. The first step is awareness. Most people trade hours for dollars. You give your time, you get a paycheck. But Jim Rohn said wages make you a living, profits make you a fortune. If you only rely on wages, your potential is capped. But if you create systems, investments, or opportunities where your money multiplies, then your fortune grows while you sleep. Ask yourself, am I working for money or is money working for me? Most people live their whole lives with a broken relationship with money. They treat money as the prize, the ultimate goal, rather than the tool it is meant to be. Think about it. Since childhood, many of us have been trained to believe that the only way to get money is to trade our time, our energy, and sometimes even our health for it. We go to school, we get a job, we work 40 or more hours a week, and in exchange we get a paycheck. That paycheck is supposed to be enough to pay the bills, keep the lights on, maybe put a little food on the table, and if we're lucky, leave something left over for the weekend. But here is the uncomfortable truth. When money is viewed only as something you earn by trading hours, you will always be limited. Why? Because your time is limited. You only have so many hours in a day, and no matter how hard you work, you can't multiply yourself. That's why Jim Rohn said something so powerful. Wages will make you a living, but profits can make you a fortune. When you hear that statement, it forces you to question the old way of thinking. Wages are finite, but profits come from leverage, from systems, from investments, from making your money and resources work even while you're not working. Changing your relationship with money starts with shifting from being only a laborer for money to being a designer of opportunities where money becomes the laborer for you. Imagine planting a seed. If you nurture it, water it, and give it sunlight, it grows into a tree that eventually produces fruit year after year. That's what money can do if you treat it the right way. If you spend it recklessly, the seed is eaten and gone. But if you invest it, protect it, and multiply it, the seed grows and produces fruit that feeds you for a lifetime. This change in relationship also means letting go of fear and ignorance around money. Many people avoid financial education because they believe it's complicated or only for the wealthy. But Jim Rohn would say that the wealthy became wealthy precisely because they understood money while others ignored it. Money has rules, just like any game. If you don't learn the rules, you will always lose to the ones who do. For example, if you think money only belongs in a savings account, you'll miss out on the power of investments. If you think credit cards are for buying things you can't afford, you'll end up enslaved to debt. If you think budgeting is restrictive, you'll never understand that a budget is simply a tool that gives you freedom and control. Changing your relationship with money also means developing respect for it. Some people say money doesn't matter, but that's only said by those who don't have enough of it. Money matters because money gives you choices. It determines whether you live with stress or peace, whether you can give to causes you care about or not, whether you live life on your terms or on someone else's. Respecting money means treating every dollar as an employee. Imagine each dollar is a worker you send out into the world. You can either waste that worker on things that don't matter, fast food, impulse purchases, mindless entertainment, or you can put that worker into a system where it produces more workers for you. A wise person doesn't just spend money, they allocate it, they assign it, they direct it to create more value. And finally, changing your relationship with money requires patience. We live in a world of instant gratification, where people want fast results, quick profits, get-rich-quick schemes, overnight success. But money, when respected and managed properly, grows slowly at first, and then exponentially later. That's why the earlier you begin treating money as your servant, the sooner it begins multiplying. Think of money not as something to chase, but as something to guide, something to direct with intelligence. When you shift from working for money to designing ways money can work for me, you've taken the first step toward true financial freedom. 2. The power of discipline. Money without discipline disappears. Wealthy people don't necessarily earn more than you, they manage more effectively than you. Jim Rohn always reminded us, it's not what you make, it's what you keep that makes you rich. This means creating a habit of saving, setting aside a portion of every dollar you earn. Don't wait until you have enough to start saving. That day never comes. Start with 10%. If you can't manage 10 cents out of a dollar, you'll never manage 10,000 out of 100,000. Discipline is the bridge between your financial dreams and your financial reality. It is easy to say you want to be wealthy, easy to imagine financial freedom, and easy to hope for abundance, but without discipline, those words remain only wishes. Discipline is the practice of doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. And when it comes to money, discipline is the difference between those who build wealth and those who stay stuck in cycles of scarcity. Jim Rohn often reminded us, it's not what you make, it's what you keep that makes you rich. That statement alone reveals the truth. Wealth isn't about income, it's about discipline. Someone can earn a six-figure salary and still live paycheck to paycheck because they lack the discipline to control their spending. On the other hand, someone else may earn an average income but grow wealthy over time because they learned the discipline of saving, investing, and saying no to unnecessary expenses. Income doesn't guarantee wealth, discipline does. Discipline starts with the small things. If you can't discipline yourself to save $1 out of 10, you won't magically become disciplined when you're earning thousands. Too often people say, I'll start saving when I make more money. But the truth is, if you don't build the habit now, you won't build it later. Habits form long before wealth arrives. That's why Rohn taught that managing pennies is just as important as managing millions. You prove to yourself and to the universe that you are ready for more by being responsible with what you already have. One of the greatest enemies of financial discipline is impulse. We live in a world that encourages instant gratification, buy now, pay later. Advertisements constantly tempt us with the latest gadgets, clothes, cars, or vacations, whispering, you deserve this. But discipline teaches us to pause, to ask whether a purchase serves our future or only satisfies a fleeting desire. Discipline is not about denial, it's about direction. It's about choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure. It's about building a financial foundation so solid that when opportunities come, you have the resources to seize them. Another key element of discipline is consistency. Anyone can save money for a week or two, but wealth comes from consistent behavior over time. It is not the grand gestures, but the daily habits that build a fortune. A disciplined person creates a budget and actually follows it. They invest regularly, even if it's a small amount, because they know consistency turns small seeds into great harvests. They track their spending not to restrict themselves, but to gain clarity and control. Discipline removes confusion and replaces it with confidence. Discipline also extends to managing debt. There are two types of debt, one that enslaves you and one that can leverage opportunities. Discipline teaches you to avoid the first and use the second wisely. It takes discipline to resist using credit to live beyond your means. It takes discipline to pay off loans consistently until you're free. And it takes discipline to recognize that every borrowed dollar is a responsibility, not free money. Without discipline, debt becomes a trap. With discipline, debt can be managed or even used strategically. But perhaps the most overlooked aspect of discipline is emotional control. Money decisions are often emotional. Fear, greed, envy, or pride drive people to make poor financial choices. Discipline helps you master those emotions. It keeps you calm when the market dips, patient when investments take time to grow, and humble enough to live below your means, even when you could afford more. Discipline whispers, stay the course, when the world screams, spend, spend. Ultimately, discipline with money is discipline with life. It teaches you to take responsibility, to delay gratification, to act with purpose instead of impulse. It transforms your relationship with wealth from chaos to order. And the beautiful thing about discipline is that it compounds, just like money. The longer you practice it, the stronger it becomes, until it's no longer a struggle but simply a way of life. Wealth doesn't appear overnight. It's built brick by brick, choice by choice, disciplined action by disciplined action. 3. Invest in yourself. Firstly, before you think of the stock market, real estate, or business ventures, invest in yourself. Jim Rohn often said, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Your skills, your knowledge, your ability to solve problems, these are assets. They appreciate over time, and they create opportunities for higher income. Every book you read, every seminar you attend, every mentor you listen to, it all multiplies your earning power. The greatest investment you will ever make is not in the stock market, not in real estate, not in a business, but in yourself. Too often people look outward, searching for the next big opportunity that will make them rich, when in reality the first and most important opportunity lies within. Jim Rohn said it best, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. That simple statement carries a profound truth. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. If you want to earn more, contribute more, and live more, you must first become more. Think of it this way. Money flows to value. The more valuable you are to the marketplace, the more money will flow toward you. If you stop learning, stop growing, and stop developing your skills, your value decreases, and eventually, so will your income. But if you continue to sharpen your mind, expand your knowledge, and cultivate new abilities, you increase your value, and wealth naturally follows. That's why the best investment strategy is to upgrade yourself, your mindset, your skills, your character. Investing in yourself begins with knowledge. Books, courses, seminars, podcasts, mentors, these are not expenses, they are assets. Every book you read adds to your intellectual bank account. Every seminar you attend sharpens your vision and expands your perspective. Every mentor you listen to gives you wisdom you may not gain on your own for decades. Too many people say they can't afford self-education, but the truth is they can't afford not to. The cost of ignorance is far greater than the price of a book. A single idea from a book or a single piece of advice from a mentor can save you years of trial and error and earn you thousands, even millions in your lifetime. Another way you invest in yourself is by developing skills. In today's world, skills are the currency of success. The person who can solve problems, communicate effectively, lead teams, sell ideas, or create solutions will always have opportunities. Skills compound just like money. Learn one and it leads to another, and together they multiply your ability to succeed. If you commit to lifelong learning, you'll never fear being obsolete because you're always upgrading. Ask yourself, which skills could I learn that would increase my value? Maybe it's public speaking, maybe it's financial literacy, maybe it's technology, or maybe it's leadership. Each skill becomes another tool in your wealth-building toolbox. But investing in yourself doesn't stop at intellectual growth. It also includes your physical health. What good is wealth if you don't have the energy to enjoy it? Your body is the vehicle through which you experience life. And if you neglect it, everything else suffers. Eating well, exercising regularly, and taking care of your health are investments that pay lifelong dividends. A healthy body fuels a sharp mind, and together they create the capacity for extraordinary achievement. Just as important as your emotional and spiritual development, money may bring comfort, but it does not bring fulfillment. When you invest in your inner world, developing discipline, patience, resilience, gratitude, you build a foundation that no financial storm can shake. Emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and master your own emotions, is one of the greatest assets you can possess. It allows you to make wise decisions under pressure, to stay calm when others panic, and to see opportunities where others only see problems. Perhaps the most valuable part of investing in yourself is that no one can ever take it from you. Markets may crash, businesses may fail, money may be lost, but the wisdom, skills, habits, and character you develop stay with you for life. They are transferable to any field, any season, any circumstance. When you make yourself valuable, you carry wealth within you wherever you go. So before you rush to put your money into external investments, put it into the one place guaranteed to bring the greatest return: yourself. Learn more, grow more, become more. As Jim Rohn often said, if you want to have more, you must first become more. When you invest in yourself, you don't just improve your bank account, you improve your destiny. 4. Let compound interest be your silent partner. Why? Money has a secret power. Compound interest. Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world, and Jim Rohn understood why. If you put your money into investments that earn returns, whether it's stocks, index funds, or real estate, the money doesn't just sit there, it grows. And then that growth earns growth. Over time, small amounts become large fortunes. But here's the catch. Compound interest works both ways. Debt compounds too. If you misuse credit cards, if you live beyond your means, you're not making money work for you. You're working for the bank. Compound interest is one of the most powerful forces in the financial world. Yet most people underestimate its potential because it works quietly, invisibly, and slowly at first. Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, and Jim Rohn understood why. It is the principle that allows small amounts of money, if invested wisely and consistently, to grow into fortunes over time. The key is not speed, but consistency and patience. At its core, compound interest means your money is working for you, earning returns, and then those returns start earning returns of their own. It's the process of growth upon growth, profit upon profit. Imagine planting a tree. In the first year, it's small. In the second year, it's a little bigger. But as it matures, it produces seeds that grow into more trees. And those trees produce more seeds, until one day you have a forest. That is how compound interest works. The longer you leave your money to grow, the more exponential the growth becomes. Unfortunately, most people never allow compound interest to become their partner because they lack patience. They want quick results. They chase after get-rich-quick schemes, gambling on risky opportunities, hoping to double their money overnight. But true wealth builders know that steady, consistent growth beats erratic, short-term gains. Compound interest requires discipline to invest regularly, even when the returns seem small in the beginning. $10 here, $50 there. It may not look like much at first, but over time it becomes extraordinary. Let's take an example. If you save just $10 a day and invest it into an account or fund that earns a modest return, say 8% annually, in 10 years you'll have tens of thousands of dollars. In 20 years, that amount more than doubles. By 30 years, the number is staggering, all from a simple daily discipline. That's the silent magic of compounding. It rewards those who start early and stay consistent. The sooner you start, the greater the effect, because time is the multiplier. Money plus time equals growth, but money plus time plus consistency equals abundance. However, compound interest has a dark side too. It doesn't just work for you, it can also work against you. Debt, especially high-interest debt like credit cards, is compound interest in reverse. Instead of your money multiplying, your debt multiplies. A small balance left unpaid grows larger and larger until it becomes overwhelming. That's why financial discipline is crucial. If you allow compound interest to work for you through investments, it becomes your servant. If you allow it to work against you through debt, it becomes your master. The beautiful thing about compound interest is that it doesn't require you to be a financial genius. You don't have to predict markets or chase complicated strategies. All you need is consistency, patience, and the willingness to let time do its work. It is less about timing the market and more about time in the market. The wealthy understand this truth. They don't rely on one-time big wins. They rely on consistent compounding over years and decades. Compound interest also teaches a life lesson. Greatness is built little by little, day by day. Just as money grows through compounding, so does knowledge, character, and habits. Every book you read, every workout you complete, every small act of discipline you repeat compounds into something extraordinary. The principle of compounding applies not only to finances, but to life itself. When you let compound interest be your silent partner, you harness a force that never sleeps, never takes a break, and never asks for a paycheck. It works quietly in the background, multiplying your efforts, turning small beginnings into great endings. But it only works if you respect it, feed it, and give it time. Jim Rohn's philosophy reminds us that wealth is not built in a moment. It's built over a lifetime of wise choices, and compound interest is the engine that makes those choices grow into lasting prosperity. 5. Build multiple streams of income. Jim Rohn believed in financial independence. And independence comes when you're not dependent on just one source of money. Ask yourself, do you have only one paycheck? What happens if it stops tomorrow? That's not financial security. That's financial fragility. Build streams, investments, side businesses, real estate, royalties, digital assets. Even if each stream is small, together they form a river that sustains your life. Relying on a single source of income is one of the riskiest financial positions you can ever be in. For most people, that single source is their job. And while a job may provide stability in the short term, it can never guarantee long-term security. If that paycheck stops tomorrow because of downsizing, layoffs, health issues, or changes in the economy, everything can collapse in an instant. That is why Jim Rohn taught the importance of building multiple streams of income. True wealth and financial independence are created when you are not dependent on just one flow of money, but instead you have several rivers feeding into your financial reservoir. Think of income streams as different pipelines that flow into your household. If one dries up, you don't panic because you still have others running. This gives you resilience. It gives you freedom. It gives you power to make decisions without fear. A person with one income source must always play defense, but a person with many income streams can play offense, seizing opportunities that others can't afford to take. The first step in building multiple streams of income is to change your mindset. Too many people believe they are limited to their paycheck, but your paycheck should be seen as the seed to create other streams. Instead of spending it all, allocate a portion to build new sources of cash flow. It doesn't happen overnight, but small, consistent efforts create new opportunities. A side hustle, a small investment, or even a passion project can eventually grow into something significant. One of the most common additional streams is investing. Stocks, index funds, bonds, or real estate are classic ways to make your money generate returns. When done wisely, investments provide income through dividends, appreciation, or rental cash flow. Another stream could be a small business, whether it's online or offline. With today's digital world, opportunities to create income outside your job are everywhere. From freelancing and digital products to e-commerce and consulting, there are countless ways to diversify your earnings. Royalties are another powerful income stream. These come from things you create once, but continue to get paid for over time. It could be writing a book, creating music, designing software, or even licensing an invention. Royalties pay you long after the work is done, turning your creativity into ongoing income. In the digital age, passive income streams, like online courses, digital templates, or affiliate marketing, can also generate consistent returns if you put in the initial effort to build them. Real estate deserves special mention because it not only generates rental income but also builds long-term equity as properties appreciate. Owning property allows you to create cash flow today and wealth tomorrow. Even small real estate investments, if managed wisely, can become a strong and stable stream of income that supplements your main job. The key, however, is not to spread yourself too thin, but to be strategic. Start with one additional stream, nurture it, and once it becomes stable, add another over time. You will have a portfolio of income flows working together. Remember, the goal is not just to earn more money, but to create resilience. When you have multiple streams of income, financial challenges that would devastate others become manageable for you. There is also a psychological benefit. When you build income streams beyond your job, you shift from being dependent to being empowered. You no longer live in fear of losing one paycheck because you know you have built other systems to support you. That sense of independence is priceless. It allows you to make decisions based on vision, not desperation. Building multiple streams of income takes time, effort, and discipline, but the rewards are life-changing. You are no longer tied to the ups and downs of one source, and you create a foundation of abundance. Jim Rohn believed that the true purpose of wealth was not just to make life easier, but to create freedom. The freedom to live life on your terms, to give generously, and to design a future you control. And multiple income streams are the vehicle that takes you there. 6. The wealth mindset. Ultimately, making money work for you is not just about dollars. It's about mindset. Jim Rohn often said, "Become a millionaire not for the $1 million, but for what it will make of you to achieve it." When you discipline yourself, when you save, when you invest, when you build, you transform. You become wiser, stronger, and more capable. The real wealth is who you become in the process. Wealth begins in the mind, long before it shows up in the bank account. The way you think about money, opportunity, and value determines whether you attract abundance or repel it. Jim Rohn always emphasized that becoming wealthy is not just about acquiring dollars, it's about developing the mindset of a wealthy person. He often said, "Become a millionaire not for the $1 million, but for what it will make of you to achieve it." That statement reveals a secret many overlook. Wealth is less about possessions and more about transformation. Who you become in the process of pursuing wealth is more valuable than the wealth itself. The wealth mindset begins with responsibility. Poor thinking always looks for excuses, blaming the government, the economy, or luck for financial struggles. But wealthy thinking accepts full responsibility. A wealthy person says, "My financial future is in my hands." This shift in ownership is powerful because as long as you believe someone else controls your results, you will never take control of your destiny. Responsibility brings freedom because it reminds you that your decisions, not circumstances, shape your wealth. Another crucial part of the wealth mindset is abundance thinking versus scarcity thinking. Scarcity thinkers see the world as limited. They believe if someone else succeeds, there is less opportunity for them. They hoard, they fear, and they hesitate. Abundance thinkers, on the other hand, understand that wealth is not a pie with only so many slices. It's a bakery, and you can always bake more pies. They see opportunities everywhere, even in crises. They believe value can be created, and because of that belief, they act boldly. Abundance thinking attracts growth, while scarcity thinking keeps you trapped in survival mode. The wealthy mindset also values delayed gratification. Those who stay poor often chase pleasure in the moment, spending on impulse, indulging in things that bring immediate satisfaction. Wealthy thinkers, however, see the bigger picture. They are willing to sacrifice today to build tomorrow. They save when others spend, invest when others consume, and wait patiently when others demand instant results. This discipline of patience is a cornerstone of wealth. They understand that the seeds planted today do not bear fruit tomorrow, but years later. They are comfortable waiting because they know the harvest will come. Another characteristic of the wealth mindset is seeing money as a tool, not a trophy. For some people, money is about status, showing off possessions to prove success. But wealthy thinkers see money as a servant, a resource that helps them create more value, freedom, and impact. They don't spend recklessly to impress others. They use money strategically to build businesses, invest in opportunities, and support causes they care about. Because they see money as a tool, they never become enslaved by it. They remain the master, not the servant. The wealthy mindset also values growth. Wealthy people understand that their income can never exceed their personal development for long. That's why they constantly read, learn, and surround themselves with mentors and other high-level thinkers. They believe in sharpening their mind, improving their skills, and building their character because they know wealth follows value, and value follows growth. Instead of asking, "What can I get?" they ask, "Who can I become?" This question shifts the focus from chasing money to becoming the kind of person money is attracted to. Finally, the wealth mindset is generous. While poverty thinking clings tightly to every dollar out of fear, wealthy thinking recognizes that giving creates a flow. Generosity opens doors, builds relationships, and creates impact beyond yourself. Wealthy thinkers understand that true wealth is not measured by how much you keep, but by how much you can give while still living abundantly. They know money is most meaningful when it improves not only their life but also the lives of others. In the end, wealth is not about luck, talent, or even hard work alone. It is about mindset. If you think small, you will live small. If you think in fear, you will live in scarcity. But if you think with responsibility, abundance, patience, discipline, growth, and generosity, you will attract wealth naturally because you will have become the kind of person who creates it. Money will follow the person you become. That is the ultimate truth. Jim Rohn wanted us to understand wealth is not something you chase, it is something you attract by becoming wealthy in mind, spirit, and habits first. So my friends, let's think like Jim Rohn. Don't chase money, position it to chase you. Don't only work for money, let it work for you. Start small, stay disciplined, invest wisely, and watch as your financial future expands beyond what you thought possible. Remember, money is a great servant, but a terrible master. Choose wisely who's in charge. Thank you.